What is good, YouTube? Quinn Wade basketball analysis coming to y'all with a video. I was going to do a rebuilding, but I chose not to. I wanted to bring y'all something that I said in my mock draft, and it became a rumor yesterday, especially if you own the internet a lot or you got the Bleacher Report app. It was Mohamed Bamba. I think that's how you say his name. He might end up getting, the Celtics might trade up to get Mohamed Bamba. And I said that I can see the Celtics doing that. And then it's kind of funny seeing a report that they're interested in him and they're willing to trade up to get him. And I just want to go through the thought process as a Celtics fan, and as a person that know Danny Ainge. I met him at Summer League, like a lot of you know, because y'all on my Facebook page. I met Danny Ainge, and I know him at the same time. So I definitely want to get into that because I feel like the Celtics are looking for a big man. Greg Monroe really didn't work out. Plus, he's a free agent. He was going to be a free agent this year anyway. Danny Ainge had his eyes on Greg Monroe for a while. Even when he was in Detroit, he could never get him to come over to Boston. Then they finally got him when he got bought out. And he really wasn't a good fit. He did solid season. I'm not going to say he was terrible or he washed up. He still has a lot more left in the tank. He still can play. And he did help them in the regular season, especially when they had a lot of injuries. But he was basically unplayable in the playoffs for majority of the time because he's just too slow. He's not good because he can't really switch because he's not athletic enough. If you would have said this 5 years ago, maybe, like when Danny Ainge wanted him, he might be a good fit then. 5 years later, the game came to pace and space and switching. And if you can't switch and you can't guard a point guard, especially you that slow and you're not athletic and you don't have a huge wingspan, you know, you're not good. But that's the thing. Mohamed Bamba is athletic. He is long, has a 7'10" wingspan, and he can cover a lot of space. This is something that the Celtics never had since, KG left. Personally, that's my opinion. They had some guys that they tried to develop into that role, but they could never fully get there. But Bamba is raw. He has a lot of potential. But what better place for him to go than Boston? And here's why. First of all, we have a lot of, I ain't going to name all the picks, but we have a lot of picks that at this point we really don't even need, honestly, because we have Gordon, we have Kyrie, we have Tatum on rookie deals for another 3 years. We have Brown under a rookie deal for another 2 years. Kyrie has another full year before we can re-sign him, and we have the ability to give him an extra year because he played with Boston this season and this season coming up. And we got Gordon Hayward. He's going to be ready for training camp. We still have Al Horford for another 2 years. So we're basically a contender already. We don't need somebody that's going to be a superstar because we already have our all-stars on our roster and we have developing all-stars already. Plus we got guys like Marcus Smart. We got guys like Terry Rozier, even though they might leave in the future to get bigger deals or to do what's best for them and their family, which you can't really argue. But they might also stay because they know the system, they know their teammates, they have the chemistry. And on top of that, let's just be honest. Brad Stevens has brought the best out of these players. And they've been making the playoffs basically with one All-Star, which was only 1 year with Isaiah Thomas, even though we didn't really make it that far into last year. We made it to the Eastern Conference Finals. But to make it to the Eastern Conference Finals back-to-back seasons, even with one All-Star on top of that, which is Al Horford, is amazing. And like I said, Al Horford to me is a power forward masquerading as a center. Yes, he's athletic. Yes, he's mobile. Yes, he's big. Yes, he's a great team player, but he's not really a rim protector. He's not really a shot blocker. And I've been saying that for years. You can't really build a defense significantly around Al Horford because of LeBron. LeBron tortures Al Horford. Al Horford just is not that guy. And if you're in the East, your goal is to beat LeBron as long as he's in the East because he's been to 8 straight finals in the East. Your goal is to stop him. If you can get past LeBron, we beat every team besides Cleveland. So if we can beat Cleveland, we have a shot coming out of the East, even with Gordon Hayward and Kyrie Irving, it's still going to be difficult because we don't know what LeBron's going to do. And if he do go to a team like Philly, it's going to be even harder to beat them because we can't beat LeBron already without Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons and Dario Saric and those guys. It's going to be tougher to beat him with multiple All-Stars on his roster, even though we will be upgraded in talent. His talent will be upgraded too, even if he went to Philly, for example. And like I said, another thing about it is you have a player like Bamba that has potential to hit jumpers, to potentially be a alley-oop lob guy, rim protector, high motor rebounder. They say one is not is his motor, but when you playing for Brad Stevens and you have players like Gordon Hayward and Al Horford that are team first guys that likes to throw the lob, that likes to make the extra pass, and you have an offense that's team friendly in Brad Stevens where he can make your job a lot easier. Plus you have other all-stars on your roster that makes your job easier too because they take the attention off of you because they're so focused on stopping Kyrie, Gordon Hayward. Plus they got the ball movement that they will find the open guy. And then he don't even have to come out right away and be a superstar. Ain't like they're forcing him to be the guy. Ain't like they forcing him to be something that he potentially may not be. He's a guy with a high ceiling, and he's a guy with a huge potential, but they don't need him to do that. Like Clint Capella, for example, a guy that was athletic, a guy that had potential. He played up under Dwight Howard. Now he's a guy that people say might get the max. Now he's a guy that people have a lot of respect for. He even got some All-NBA votes. And he put up a double-double this year and was a part of a 60-win team in the #1 team in the Western Conference, and a team that made it to the Western Conference Finals and was one game away, one quarter away from being in the NBA Finals, and he was a main point of that team. And like I said, this is a guy that he can pattern his game after because they had a lot of similarities. To me, I think I see a lot of Bamba in Clint Capella. And especially when he first came in the league, he was very raw. He couldn't really finish. He couldn't really shoot free throws. He wasn't a great defender. And all that is gone for Clint Capella because they was able to develop him while still using him. And then when they needed him most, James Harden made his job easier. And then adding Chris Paul, who played with a guy like Blake Griffin and DeAndre, made his job even easier. He's been having significant improvements every single season, and that's something that I can see Bamba getting out of Brad Stevens. He's going to be a guy that he's not going to force him. He's not going to try to make him something that he's not, but he's also going to develop him so he can reach his full potential, and having other stars make your job easier because they take that attention off of you. And if you ever get double teamed, if you ever get trapped, it's going to be a guy open. And Bamba, if he can stay around that rim from about 12 feet and under, he should be fine. And that's a defined role, and that's what Brad Stevens is perfect at. Getting the best out of his players, having them in the right spots, giving them the opportunity, and having them in a comfort zone where they can succeed the most. And having a coach like that, coaching a guy with that type of wingspan and athleticism, and on top of that, he will be on a rookie scale deal for multiple years. And on top of that, you don't really need a draft pick, and you don't really need to get a superstar at this point because you have multiple All-Stars already on your roster. And even though it don't hurt to get another superstar, because if they do decide to leave, for example, or you want to get rid of one of them, you get like Kyrie, you might not want to re-sign him. You have other guys that you can potentially plug in. But this guy, as I done seen and heard from a lot of people, has so much potential at his age with his abilities that who else is better besides Greg Popovich to get the best out of him? And it might be, Brad Stevens. And I like it. I like this guy. I think we always needed a rim protector. I think we always needed that guy that can do the dirty work. I think we always needed that guy that can make it difficult on LeBron. LeBron's biggest weakness is not free throw shooting, but he has trouble finishing on length. Once he get that separation, if a guy can just contest or try to block his shot, he has trouble finishing sometimes. Or if they can meet him at that spot, like you used to see with Kendrick Perkins and Kevin Garnett, make him run into walls. But you have to be athletic and cover enough space to be able to do that, and that's Bamba. And he might be the secret ingredient that Danny Ainge knows, and I know, that can take us over the top and help us come out the East. But he might not be ready day one, But what I'm saying is we don't need him to be either. And I like the guy. I like his potential. And like I said, we got so many picks that none of those people going to be able to make the roster. Some of those people going to be in the G League because they're not going to be able to make the 12 team. And some of them people we have. And if we don't trade up to get guys we want, we're going to have to draft another guy kind of like Terry Rozier was, a guy that we might not need right away, but we can use him in the future. So they let go of people like James Young and Avery Bradley, and Terry Rozier was one of those guys that may never get playing time, but he was able to get it because they was able to cut a lot of their talent, turn them into two all-stars, which is Gordon Hayward and Kyrie Irving, to clear that space to get two superstar potential players. So what's the point of having all these picks to get a guy that may not even play for another 2 to 3 years when you can get a guy that has potential to make an impact, significant impact on your roster and on your team, and you get to develop him, and he's going to be cheap for a couple seasons, and he has potential to be a defensive anchor, something that Al Horford can be because they're one of the top defensive teams now. But when it comes in the playoffs, he's not a rim protector, and he's not the best rebounder. I like how hard he played. I like how good he fits with this team. But I think trying to go against finishers and trying to go against LeBron, you need that athleticism at that center position. And Al Horford is a guy that can be a stretch four, so it still will make sense, at the end of the day, and he'll be a better guy to switch. If you can have Al Horford in the game and you can have Bamba in the game, you're not really scared of Bamba getting switched on in the future because you're going to teach him. He's going to learn. And he's going to be in those situations all the time because you're a contender. So you're going to get the best punches from everybody in the league because people are starting to project that the Celtics is going to be the best team in the East, if not the Bucks or Philly. So why not add a guy that you can switch and anchor your defense in the paint and give you a lot of rebounds and give you a lot of shot blocking? And to me, why not trade up with picks that you might not even need anyway to get a guy that can help you in the future and possibly now? Because, if Brad Stevens gets him, he's going to get the best out of him this season. He may not be a superstar right away, but he can be potentially an all-star. Even DeAndre Jordan was able to get to an all-star level in his career, and I think Bamba can be better than him. Especially because he has some abilities offensively that we starting to see. And, with that wingspan and that jumping ability and that ability, to cover a lot of space, that's something coveted in the league. And you're going to have 3-4 years of him being cheap, so you can't really complain about that either. Let me know what you guys think. Is it a good fit? Is I'm overrating them? Do you think it was just a rumor? Do you think it might come true? If you're a Celtics fan, do you want it to happen? Or do you want us to draft other people and try other people? Check out my website, analysisplayground.com. Link will be in the description, comment section below. And check out my Facebook page, analysisplayground.com. Link will be in the description in the comment section below. But I actually like it for the Celtics. I've been saying this for years, and it's good that it's starting to get some notice. We need that guy that can protect that paint. We need a guy that we can switch and still guard that paint and guard perimeter and make it tough. AD can do it, I'm not saying he's going to be AD offensively, but defensively, he potentially can do it too. And with that 7'10" wingspan, he can get out and contest the Currys and the Durants and make it tough for them to shoot over him. And if they get past him, he's so lean and so quick and so slithery that he can still challenge their shots at the rim, even being on the perimeter.